All right, we're live. We're back. It is actually 10:10 p.m. Standard Mountain Time right now, and we have Shem, Jacobs, Tartarian Truth, and Ryan, the mysterious Ontarian ElkMan, with us. And ElkMan, you have quite the show for us today with, a book of mounds out of Hamilton or on just Ontario in general?
We can just I'm just going to draw a few conclusions here too. I mostly Mounds stuff today, yeah, but not just Ontario, through Ohio. Everything will tie in today.
Because, like you always point out, it the artificial border or line there of just a couple hundred years of age, didn't stop the pyramids or the mounds of America, which are pyramids, from stopping at the Canadian border. And indeed, they do actually, you're about to show they're all over.
Yeah, so so I've always been interested in the Book of Ohio mounds because there's just so many of them, but they do stop at the Canadian border because of reasons. But sometimes you do find gems. So this book is published by the Royal Ontario Museum. Ontario is a province here, so it's essentially a government publication. And I just want to point out that there's mounds in Southern Ontario. There's all these ones in Southern Ontario, and there's all these ones in Northern Ontario. So we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 mounds that have been previously recognized by the Royal Ontario Museum. But that's that book. It's got tons of mounds in there. You can follow them along and plot them all out. I've done so. But on the same note, I would like to share something else. Sorry if I'm going too fast. It might make sense in a couple seconds, but just bear with me.
Oh, good.
So first got into my research. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was matching old maps I had found with Google Earth, or just like searching on Google Earth for similar things I had seen in these old maps at locations. So I found, yeah, if you can present that screen.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
So if you check out like Hamilton, Ontario on Google Earth, there's a lot of very interesting stuff on it. I've showed it on a few streams, so I'm not going to bore everybody with it like right this instant. But I just wanted to so this is called the Red Creek Hill Mounds. So in Hamilton, Ontario, essentially, in the Red Hill Creek Valley, a lot of people have discovered or noticed mound-like features. So this has gone to court and what have you. They've analyzed aerial photography. They basically give, you guys can read this for yourself, but I don't want to read this all again, but if you cut to the conclusion here, what their conclusion is the traditional burial mound construction in southern Ontario did not continue after circa AD 700, as late woodland Ontario Iroquoian speaking peoples developed other burial traditions, such as the use of ossuaries. With the exception of a series of early Iroquois burials at the Serpent Mounds on Rice Lake. So we do have Serpent Mounds in Rice Lake, Ontario, which they are admitting, which clearly reflect continuity in a specific community's use of its sacred burial place. No late woodland Ontario Iroquoian ossuary or cemetery that has been documented in over 100 years of professional archaeological research has yielded evidence for any form of contemporaneous mound structure. This is coming from Archaeological Services of Canada, who are the same team that produced that last book I showed to you. So there is a lot of doublespeak going on. And in this case, I found mounds and pyramids in this area myself, and I just happened to do a Google search for pyramids in this area, and this is the first document I got. And that's how they
amazing.
Yeah, so that's there. Probably won't be up for very long. There's some other stuff, but yeah. I just want to bring that up. Just a little quick one. So
oh, this is awesome stuff. And showing that it was yeah, exactly. You're showing the contradictions, but that like it's been with this narrative shift, and that even officially it was like, so because everyone's like, oh, these were just wild newspaper stories and fictional legends and stuff from that time. And like, especially like, shout out Analog, the archivist, Ben there, and everything that he's shown with all the newspaper clippings. But now what you've shown here with these last two Royal Institutes of Ontario there, or whatever, that published these two, that they've also documented all of these mounds in Canada and in that Ontario there over 100 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just bringing it up on Google Earth. I can't seem to find my...
Perfect. It seems we're down a Shem. We're down a Shem. I know Shem come back. Shem will come back.
Oh, he'll be back.
He'll be back. Shout out Provo Kid. And Provo, we still got to have you on, do a stream and talk about Utah, like the heart of, well, what seems like a former civilization, and the evidence of possible past plasma catastrophes, what it looks like around that area. There we go.
So it's all in this area here. But yeah, I used to have it all. Unfortunately, with Google Earth, it doesn't save your locations for the software. It saves it for the computer you're on. So
right,
all marked out. Yeah, that's the problem you guys
the
are running
stupidest thing ever. Oh, why? Thank you, Nicole S. This design. Oh, there, Shem shall return. But this design here, I call the seed, or the weed of life. It's the seed of life, sacred geometry symbol, but then with weed leaves, thus the weed of life design. I do have some girls' tank tops still available in that one, actually. Welcome back, Mr. Shem.
Yeah, my computer just exploded. I'm trying to get it back up so I can share the maps and stuff. I'm on my phone right now.
That's what I love about StreamYard, at least, unless that StreamYard caused your computer to explode, but is that you can always join in from the phone, the tablet, or the computers. And, well, I usually do a little bit of both, and you're able to come right back in. So which lake is this on here, and what area?
I just got distracted. Sorry, man.
Oh yeah, that was in the tip. I see where we are. I see where we are. Yeah.
Main area is right here in Hamilton. I was just over in Detroit there for a little bit.
All good. Before you close this down, we should also take a look at Niagara. But do show these mounds and forts and all the finds of the Alchemist.
There's not much to show anymore because Google's been updated too many times. Just let me try my best though. Try and find an address on there.
Interesting. The port areas there of how much. I'm sure, like a majority of the modern docks, obviously, are modern rebuilding, but that there's probably still a decent amount of canals and um, ancient earthworks throughout there too.
Yeah, so everything on Red Hill Creek is super sus. And this is the Red Hill Creek. In the Red Hill Valley. And there's always red hills whenever there's something interesting to find.
Isn't that the truth? Red Coulee, the Red Rock Coulee I went to in Alberta this summer, and Red Rock Canyon as close, kind of close to there in Waterton Park. It's nuts.
Yeah, they were all somewhere around here, but
That's looking like a pretty sus water feature there. And ooh, we got some moundage.
yeah, and this is where I found those other ones I shared with you before too. That serpent one's probably around here. That's an interesting shaped building. But yeah.
You said some of these connect. You said some of these connect with Ohio and Ontario.
Yeah. So yeah, here we are. So this is obviously Turtle Mound, which has been
Modernized to hide
made
it.
into a dog park or a storage center or something. But like around here, I do remember finding lots of areas that have been blocked off.
Oh, have you heard of like the dog mound effigy in that area? I've actually watched a program on it last night, a little YouTube clip on it. It's somewhere in Ontario. There's like the Dog Mound Hill, and it's like a geoglyph in that area somewhere.
I don't know about it, but I do find it like interesting how there's just like this little bit left in the center of like industrial.
Right? What they've been tearing down, sort of thing. I feel you.
Yeah, and that would have been like we can only speculate. But yeah, so they do all connect to. Yeah, so sorry, I'm not ignoring Shem's question. So Shem asked if they all somehow connect, and they do through either train lines, which may or may not still be running, and the pipeline. So when I got into a lot of this research at the beginning too, I was interested in the pipeline because I thought it might have been appropriated. And I'm speaking of like the pipeline that pumps tar to everybody across North America. Because I'd say most Indian reservations in Ontario are within 5 kilometers of a chemical processing plant, which utilizes the pipeline, and also these triangular shaped things that I have a ton of right here on this map. I've made videos of it before, but they are very similar to like they're all with these ones are mostly within the triangles are mostly within I'd say 5 kilometers of Oneida Indian reserves.
Well, after the War of 1812, the Iroquois Indians were pushed back up into Ontario, I'm pretty sure, and it's likely that the Iroquois Indians, who were described by the European settlers as being the Rome of the Americas, were responsible for building a lot of the impressive buildings that we see in the areas of like Chicago and stuff like that. We did a stream about this the other night. So I'm curious if in the Ontario area, do you see symbols related to like the Fleur de Lis or any of these green men or anything like that on the buildings in downtown, or do you just barely see mounds, or what's it looking like over there?
So like mounds are something that's not even on anyone's head here. Like I don't think like there's not too many people that even would like fathom that we have them here in Canada, because there's just nothing we've ever known about. As far as like architecture, seeing stuff like that, I don't see much of it, to be honest with you. There is some residue, like in Toronto, where they had like the World's Fairs, but it's not like Native American residue that's been left over, like in the States. It's more Columbia and like Masonic imagery.
What do you think the mounds are?
So this is a mound I went to. I made a video on this one. This is called the Southwold Earthworks. I personally, I think a lot of these mounds, like this one's a circle mound, and like with my research, I've done a lot of research on like mounds of all kinds all over the world, and this one like matches up the most, in my opinion, with like the Danes and like early Viking mounds, because of the way it's lined out in a circle like that. And I've said before too, a lot of like the mounds around here, when they excavate them, the way they find the bodies is not typical of like Native American burials. It's more typical of like I don't know what you want to call it, Norse, Viking, Dane, Netherlander burials. So and there's also like the Peterborough petroglyphs, and those petroglyphs, in my opinion, look the same. And there's a lot that indicates to me that like they're one and the same, that peoples have been living in these places time and time again.
Well, what's the difference between a Viking burial and a Native American burial, in your opinion?
So in my opinion, like the Native American, well, for one thing, like Native Americans, I'm talking like Indians, or like what I would call Indians. I know it's not popular anymore, but like Indians, they traditionally would just take, when someone would die, they would take all their possessions, put it in a pile and burn them with everything, and that would become a mound. And then they would build on top and on top of that. There was also like the pyramid structures, like the step pyramids that were there before them. These mounds, when they excavate them, they're finding skeletons in them with like skulls shoved up their asses, and that's like a sign of disrespect. And that was a way they used it. That was a sign of disrespect in the Norse or Viking culture, from my research. So the way the bodies were laid out in the mounds leads me to believe that, but I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy who like does a lot of research and watches a lot of movies and ties a lot of stuff together. But that's what I would say, in my opinion. And like, they're mostly the mounds like that we find in Ohio, they mostly lead all through this river right through here, which goes right through here through Chicago. It can reach to Chicago and everywhere, which we've discussed. There's a major portage here in Chicago, but everything was connected. But like I have been to the Viking places in Newfoundland, and it was the story that they traveled all down through here. So it does all line up with, it is possible that they could have traveled through the States and left burial mounds as they went. And people tend to stay where other people have been before because the land's prepared for them already. Sorry for the dead air, but there is tons of these like very interesting star stuff going on. Like, I don't understand all this. I don't know if these are from like old trenches or what have you. But the fact that it's right beside a landfill would lead me to believe that this was either, it was something of importance, and I would think it would have to do with water power, just because like with these zigzags, you find them near a lot of water power stations, which Indians used to call, that's what electricity would have been water power back then. But I don't know. I'm just speculating. And another thing too, I shouldn't say like this is just me like this isn't just me like seeing stuff on maps. I found an old map that had like probably like 1,000 stars on it, and I overlaid it. And like in these exact locations where you overlaid it, you would find buildings that look like this. So obviously that's not like, in my opinion, an architectural style. In my opinion, it's built on the foundation of something else. But there's quite a few in a very condensed area. And the triangles too. There's a ton of triangles everywhere. But yeah. Sorry.
No, doing good. Sorry, I'm just going through a folder of different pyramids pictures that I have to show at the end. No, this is awesome stuff, ElkMan. Like, there's so many things that need to be investigated and finding, and that Google anomalies are a real thing.
I'll just share the star map for just
yeah,
last
absolutely.
time. Like,
100%. Can never share the star map enough, my man.
So I did not make this map. I simply overlaid those yellow stars over top of, maybe I can find one here I missed. I'm sure I can. So all these yellow stars, which no one can see right now because I'm zoomed far too close in, are all overlaid over top of 5 dots on this map, and they all appeared there. So this map had been in a few atlases. I can't remember the name. It's on the Rumsey collection. There's one. I'm just trying to get the resolution so I can show you guys what I was working with. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see it. I'll try and zoom in, but it just may turn into a potato.
It looks pretty HD.
Right here, sorry, it was 6-sided dots. So right here, there's what I'm talking about. The original map I had is like 350 megabytes, so I can't even hope to pull it up here because it'll just crash us. But right here, there's a ring of 6 circles. So what I've done is just overlaid them with these yellow stars so they're easier to see. And in every single case, I was able to find either a building mound or a legit star fort. And as you can see, like, I don't even think I'm like 2/3 done this yet. There's probably like a ton I have missed. And I'm sure some of these would match up with the Ohio mounds if it went that far, but I don't think there's
Yeah, because it
anything
looks like you have some. It looks like you have some markers in Cuyahoga County, which is like where Cleveland's at, right there on Lake Erie. It looks like you have at least just south of Lake Erie there. It looks like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, that's a lot of pins. So we could check that out too.
Yeah, and like, why would they just add this little scoop down here? You know what I'm saying? Like, they would have just cut it off on Ontario, because this was like showing Ontario. It wasn't showing the bottom part, like right here, where I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but in the bottom, like almost center of the screen, it's just odd that they put that little scoop of map in there. They wanted to show us probably how this train line went, actually. But yeah, there's just a ton of stuff. And I'm just gonna go peek at the chat for a second and get a break.
Can you click on that and does it do Google Maps, or
do you want me to bring it up on Google Earth?
Yeah, I mean, if some of these are star forts, it'd be cool to check them out and see what they look like, or if they're mounds or something.
Okay.
All maps are in John Levi's new book called Old World. That book's released. I thought it wasn't out yet.
So I can show you all the ones that I know. Sorry, this. So the ones that are closest to me is like in this area in the St. Clair River here, between Sarnia, Port Huron, Fort Gratiot, and like Detroit, Windsor. So we'll switch this out back to Google Earth if I didn't close it.
Are we talking about the truth about the Japanese built the pyramids?
Sorry, I gotta reopen Earth.
All good. Oh man, I had like 200 photos selected and then lost them selected and had a temporary little moment of a freak out there. Good thing I was muted. So Ryan, you're bringing one more thing up, or
yeah,
should we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good when you is.
Oh, there we go.
So here's one in Amherstburg. This one you can still go visit. There's the star shape if it's not jumping out to anybody.
Oh yeah, I see it. And top left too.
Yeah, and what you'll notice is like these spill over onto roads and get divided in property lines and stuff. So people these haven't always been important, is what I'm trying to say, or preserved. They've tried to been, in a lot of cases, just disappeared.
Wild Alchemist Spirit. When I grew up, had several mounds. You should go take video or pictures of the mounds if you can.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily like, I'm just on the most recent map, so some stuff might not be on these, but like when we get up into Windsor and Detroit, like this was something. If anyone's been to so this is Sandwich Town, the famous town. This is a huge native I don't know if it's a reserve, but it's protected land, and it's the oldest surviving, like, it's Ojibwe Park. I don't know too much about this place, except when I used to live near Windsor, I've seen a lot of really, really strange stuff near Ojibwe Park, like paranormal stuff. And I'm not one for believing in ghosts or anything like that, but like I've seen stuff with my own eyes around here, and like I would never go back here ever again because I was so freaked out by it. But it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. But I think something is going on there. And then there's in Detroit, this was where is it now? This was a star fort at one time too. I can't remember the name of it now. It's where they had all the free festivals. They still do. There's a parking garage, but it was on the star map as well. But there's lots going on in Detroit. You can see where all the cross sections are. A lot happened, but there is fort. There's another fort right here too. This one, Fort Wayne. And like this one's like a double one because you can see the normal square, but on the outside of it, it's got the extra pattern too. And then the jail in Sandwich Town across the way is pretty interesting too. It's like a yeah, I'm not going to go for a hunt with all y'all around here, but there's a good target. I'll just Google it here.
That last one was pretty insane though.
Maybe let me drop the map. So yeah, when this area is really interesting, and this place is almost like a castle. Like some sides of it still do look like a castle. But the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it's near Ojibwe Park, which was a huge Native American place, and it just ties into these buildings maybe being here longer than the narrative itself. Hard time with this. Yeah. I'll give it one more shot.
Well, who do you think was creating some of these structures then?
Like this one in particular, I'm not really sure because like a lot of them I think are old like Mohawk and Seneca ones, but this architecture doesn't really follow it. And like obviously there's a mound in the background here.
Are you able to zoom in on the archway to the entrance of the building to see if there's any symbols there?
No. No, I can't. Here. It's just.
It became like distorted.
But also in this area too, like there's there's rumors. Oh, there's rumors of tunnels going from some of these buildings under the Detroit River to places in Detroit. They say from the rum running days. But I do believe they're there still. People still talk about them, but I don't know. These bricks look extremely old now that I'm looking at this, but I'm not
I thought
really
you
sure.
could like scroll in closer on the picture though on Google Earth. Like, are you able to just
If you can, I don't know how to on this.
give a
Like,
mouse,
it's
or
not
what are you
working.
using?
Yeah, I'm on a mouse and I'm using Control or Alt or everything. It's just not working.
Usually it's like the ball thing.
Yeah, it's not working.
That sucks. Yeah, I would love to see the symbolism because maybe we could associate it with something, but it definitely looks like the type of architecture we see in it. All these cities around this area that are influenced by like French architecture.
Right? Like it's like maybe it does work, just not while we're streaming for some strange reason. That was pretty epic information, ElkMan. Thank you for sharing, brother. Got anything else to go over, or should I pull up Shem's?
No, I'm sure I'll interrupt Shem enough that I'll get all my
All
points.
right. We shall start off with the Archaeological Atlas of Ohio that Mr. Shem Jacobs has up for us.
I was trying to get the HD version of this, that's what caused my computer to crash, so we won't be able to zoom in as much as I'd like to, but this is in Franklin County, Ohio. All these red triangles represent mounds. So this is downtown Columbus, which is the capital city of Ohio. You can see just how many earthworks and mounds there were in this area. They would draw these half, or I guess like 2/3 circles to represent earthworks. And then if there was a particularly massive location, it seems like they would draw this, I guess you could call it like something that looks like Moorish architecture to me, but it's like a mosque or something. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but right below the word South Columbus on the left, that's the type of larger structures that they would draw in certain locations. So I've basically been going to these sites and trying to get as much evidence of their existence as possible. Unfortunately, I think it's been at least 15 to 18 in a row that I've gone to have no longer existed. But I do have evidence of some of them at least. One of the sites I want to talk about that still exists today is called the Reservoir Stone Mound. It's not in complete condition, and there's a guy named Chuck on YouTube, CF Apps 7865, who has done a video about this.
R.I.P. Chuck. Great resource. So much good work.
This is close to Buckeye Lake, Ohio. This is allegedly the largest pyramidal structure in North America, and there are some remnants of it left today, but this is an article about it. There's no photos on this website, but we'll look at photos here in a second. The base of the mound was 182 feet in diameter, which that number seems pretty low compared to some of the places I've been to. We still have this Miamisburg mound today that is pretty massive. You can see other cities getting on top of this. This is the same area that the Adena Mound builders, the Hopewell Indians, all those people were in back in the day. So these are some photos of that mound we were just talking about, the Reservoir Stone Mound. It's right off the highway. This is Highway 70 heading towards Buckeye Lake right here. So you could pull your car over right here and just go into the woods. I was going to go down there recently, but a friend of mine sent me a YouTube comment that said the guy that actually owns this property, I guess, has cameras set up all around it, and he calls the cops when you go there. Because I was planning on going down there, but I don't know. I'm nervous about trying to get in. But some of these other sites I've actually been able to discover some information about.
One thing if you look at the Brides America, the way the Indians used to mine copper, it would end up creating mounds as well too. So that's why I think a lot of these are disappeared, because they're old copper mines. I'm not talking about these ones in Ohio in particular. It's just they do develop mounds from digging out underneath the ground as well. You don't see that very often or talked about.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because if you look at modern construction sites, when they dig out to build buildings, you can see that they accidentally create a mound right next to it. But the way that they do it is just, it's a lot different than what you see in some of these ancient sites.
Well, yeah, like even right near me, they covered up Indian Town with a landfill, and the landfill looks like the biggest mound you'd ever seen in your life. It's like there's a pyramid like 2 kilometers away from me now, and it's like, is one day they're like people going to be talking about that, thinking it's like the mound builders. Because if they do dig deep enough, they will find a civilization after civilization once they get through all the garbage. Like same kind of thing.
No, I think about that all the time. That I think, like when they discover these modern theaters that people build that no one ever uses at these public parks, like 1,000 years from now, someone's gonna look back and be like, "Oh, this is what this was," but it's like just this random site that no one ever used. For example, in my city, there's a outdoor theater that they built that literally never gets used. So I'm just imagining someone getting paid in the future.
We're going to start off by looking at a book by William C.
So this is
Mills called the Archaeological Atlas of Ohio.
the site I was just showing on this map right here. Go back to that real quick before. This is in Clintonville, Ohio. This is at the Ohio School for the Deaf. And it's completely blocked off. You can't get in there, unfortunately, to check it out. But according to this map, this is more than likely Morris Road right here. So you see this triangle and the triangle underneath it. This is probably the Ohio School for Deaf. I think I discovered one of the mounds that still exist on this property. Check that out real quick.
You can't really get access to it.
Yeah, so in this clip here, you can see that the Ohio Historical Society has access to other maps that show more mound sites in Ohio, but this is not public information. This is just something they keep behind closed doors. But WOSU did a documentary about some of the mound sites in Ohio, and they revealed this map. So I've been using this to also locate some other ones.
Mounds over on the property of the deaf and blind school.
There's 3 mounds over on the property of the deaf and blind school.
So you can already tell that in the map we were just looking at from 1914 from William C. Mills, those 3 mounds are not listed on there. But I went down there and it was completely gated in. I could not get access to it. You have to make an appointment to try to even get in there. This area right here, I know it's very blurry. Let's see if I can increase it a little bit. But back here, it seems like right behind this fence to the left here, to the left post, there might be one of the mounds. See if I can get a better picture.
One of the mounds, I'm not sure.
And guys, you talking in the chat about them maybe being refueling station for airships. That's entirely possible, because I do believe a lot of the like Native American earthworks, they were all pictures that, or images or icons that represent the tribe or what they traded, so it could be seen from above, so that when people would land with airships, they'd know where to land their ships, so that they could be in the right spot with the right people or trade for the right thing. So I do believe, and there is some talk of airships in Jesuits, so that would have been in the 1600s. So I don't know if you were being sarcastic, but I do think you're onto something with that.
In all of Greco-Roman texts, they talk about being mostly burial sites for people, or used as waypoints. When people would go by, they would know that it leads to a certain direction, or when someone was traveling, they would leave a stone there as like a good luck charm. But you see down here at the bottom left those are those circular balls that people have been talking about. And on the right-hand side here, these are all close to these mounds.
Those are the same ones I was showing and Bernie was showing.
Yeah, so I was walking up the river down here. At the top left here, where you see it says North High Street, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. there's an access point right by that location to get into this Ohio School for the Deaf. So I was walking down there and saw some of these balls down there.
You found some of Bernie's balls underneath the chicken joint by the river?
Exactly.
Damn.
So I'm going to try to sneak back in there again in the future to see if I can find the mound on foot, but it's just...
Heck yeah, that's epic work, man. I'm going to be right back here. I just run to the bathroom quick.
Sounds good. So yeah, one of the mounds does appear to still exist. It's in the northwestern part of the property. So when you go to Google Earth here and you put the man on the ground, you can see the back in this corner. It looks like that's a mound right there. So that's at least one of 3 that still exist today. Like, you can't get access to this property unless you have an appointment set up in advance. But this looks exactly like other mounds that I visited in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if those like circular rocks are like cannonballs or some kind of weird, like, because they're everywhere on all these sites, it seems. The balls are like the ones near me are like between, I'd say between 18 and like 30 inches.
Yeah, they're huge. They're long. They're almost as long as I can stretch out my arms to both sides. But I have no idea what they are because some of them are like kicked into the side of a cliff. Like it's like a 15, 16 foot high climb to get out of there, and there will just be one of those balls sitting on the side of it, halfway buried. It's really strange.
Yeah, and they usually, like, I don't, like, the only thing that makes sense to me is maybe it starts off with like a magnetic center, and then it pulls everything like heavy metals into the magnetic center over years and years and years, because the ones near me are all in shale too. So that's what happens. They just like come up from the sand or just like fall out of shale. Once Bernie gets back, I can try and share that video I made of them, because like, you can see how big they are. And he's got videos on that too. It's just weird that they happen to be at all these sites that are either sacred or sectioned off.
Yeah, I wish I could bring other videos. My computer's having a lot of trouble tonight. I apologize to everyone. I'm trying to bring up other videos of this stuff. We're back to the atlas while that's still footing. It's another site I visited on this map. I was trying to bring up was up here in Worthington, Ohio. It's called Jeffers Mound. I'm trying to load the video right now. Maybe we'll get to that. But also down here in German Village, Ohio, I think I discovered one of these mounds as well that seems to no longer exist, or at least I think it's this earthwork you see right here. It's like a line that looks kind of like a serpent right south of Columbus.
Have you been to the Serpent Mound in Ohio? Like
no, not yet. I want to go down there though. I've been to the sites in Western Ohio, but it was before I even knew what they were. Okay, I think it works finally. Oh. Yeah, so this is the Jeffers Mound site in Worthington, Ohio. It looks exactly like the mound we were just looking at in School for Blind, the way that the grass is growing on it and everything like that. But this is huge. This is in the middle of a random wealthy neighborhood in Worthington, Ohio. And there were more earthworks in this area, which we can see in that William C. Mills book in Franklin County. Go back one page so you can see. So right here on the right-hand side, it says Earthworks in Worthington. This is the earthworks that we're looking at right now. Oh, of course.
And like, and if Indians were nomads, how would they have time to build all these like gigantic earthworks?
It's hard to tell what they're exactly for because they have these trees as well called Osage oranges, which I guess were used to put around their farming lands to keep away certain pests and predators, because it's a natural repellent to certain pests and predators to the crops.
Yeah.
And like they just surround these weird locations in Ohio, and I don't know if they're using these sites, because Luke from Ancient Historia was saying that some of these mounds could have been used for filtering water or storing water, and I'm thinking that kind of does make sense because we have sites that have mounds on farmland surrounded by these Osage orange trees, which were used to surround the farmland. But I don't know, it's completely random. But yeah, right here, earthworks near Worthington, Ohio area, 8 acres. That's what we're looking at right now in this video. So what's left right now is just this mound, and then on the south side of it, there's a shape of an earthwork that's still there, but it's not. There's nothing there. It's just like stakes in the ground. There's a massive rock on the west side of this as well. I think this is the rock right now. This is when I walked up it. So here's the earthwork right here. They say that this was a longhouse or something, but who knows?
What are those? Are those like markers for like what are those squares? Do you know?
I guess it's just outlining the shape that the house or the structure was in the past. But this is just one little part of this entire area that's so small compared to what we see on this old map. Because keep in mind, all we're seeing on the map. I hate how it zooms out every time. All we're seeing on the map right here is just one of these mounds. The entire area of the original earthwork structure. There's the Olentangy River Road. In the video that I was just showing, I show how I drive in from Olentangy River, and then I drive up to this mound site. So one of these 3 mounds is the ones we're looking at. I'm not sure which one, but 8 acres of this area was all earthworks at one point, and there were 3 separate mounds. And then up here to the northwest, we also have another mound. Just completely lost, though. I didn't see any evidence of that while I was there. And one last thing I want to show is the German village mound, possible mound. Hold on, let me zoom out so I can show the Franklin County map again. Here we go. All right, so this is in German Village right here, which is to the south of Columbus. And based on the map, the curve of the river right here. I think it's this earthwork right in the middle, just south of Columbus. You see the word Columbus? That serpent crescent moon type shape right there is what I think we're looking at here. But it could also possibly be, I guess, the triangle right to the bottom left of that. And this is now a place called Schiller Park, and it looked like there are multiple mound and earthwork type structures there. This is also an area with old architecture. So this is the mound right here. Every single mound I've visited in Ohio has this type of trail going up through the middle like that makes it have like a crevice carved out of it. But I think this right here is the earthwork. What'd you say?
It's for tobogganing.
But all around this entire park, there's just these old school German style houses, or just old world style houses with various symbols on them. I took a video of them, but it's in another live that got unfortunately removed because the internet was slow or something. But yeah, this entire park is just filled with earthworks. On the way in, I saw something else that looked like it was the mound originally, but then I saw this and I thought for sure this was it. This is what I originally saw that made me stop. Because on this side of it looked like a mound, and then there was like concrete with a door in it, but it ended up just being like a outdoor stage. But it was just the first mound type structure I saw. It looks like they used the mound for a different purpose. I've seen multiple mounds in Ohio though that have doors to get into them. So yeah.
Didn't they find Viking artifacts in Ohio? The Indians ate them or something. Yeah, that they did. That's how the story goes. But the Indians ate the artifacts, or the Vikings? Sweet stuff, man.
Yeah, well, I was gonna share the book again, but it just froze. So
Doesn't want to load.
That's the
It's
end
like,
of that.
no, we're a potato.
Yeah, my computer is not functioning properly right now. I apologize.
No worries, brother. Appreciate everything that you were able to share and did just share. It was pretty good stuff. ElkMan has some more up ready to go.
Since everyone's showing their ball videos, I'd like to contribute as well.
Them balls, man. Them balls. And so where was this? Is around Hamilton?
No, this is in Kettle Point.
Kettle
Ontario.
Point, Ontario.
Yeah, and it's called Kettle Point because these are called kettle balls. So, who would think? But here's the shale that they're coming out of. It won't focus for that. And this is, I think what Shem was getting at, how they're just like, you can tell that
they don't belong.
I don't know what they are either. I once speculated as a joke that they're the eggs from the Mahabharata, but I don't know. Like maybe it's not a joke.
Well, Stellium 7 believes and puts out evidence towards them potentially being like Titan biogeology and fossilized stuff. Maybe they are dino eggs, tree tree seeds, titan trees. Who knows?
Yeah, I've seen those videos too. They could just be massive cannonballs or like something like that too. Because like, look at what's underneath it. Like, it's not just shale. There's fucking bricks and cement and lots of interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not used for some sort of like power source or something like that, I would just maybe they are natural. I don't know. It just seems pointless.
And it's weird that we're like all of us found these independently. And like,
Yeah, they're
before I-
all over. They're all over Ohio.
Right.
I see them everywhere. Like any small stream, just any park, they're pretty much there.
and yeah, like before I did this, like I made this video because before I talked to you guys, like apparently these are just like in Vietnam or somewhere. Like I think it's Vietnam, but I'm like, no, these are everywhere. Turns out they are.
Yeah, and Kazakhstan and are in the Arctic, Siberian Arctic, as well as supposedly Canadian Arctic, and I've also heard that they're down in Antarctica, but haven't confirmed that. Seem to be realm wide.
Yeah, that one's just fused with the wall. It's just so weird.
Yeah, and like a lot of weird history is taking place in these parts, but
And the stair, like,
I think
is it?
the stairs
What
that
are
I
those
carved
stairs?
out. But look at that. Look at like. I, yeah, I think this was on the stream I had on your channel, Becca.
Yeah, you showed that. This is some awesome stuff, brother.
Yeah, I could show the other one from the Soulfold Earthworks that I was showing on the map earlier, but there's just not much to look at. It's just like grass and there's nothing to fucking see, really. And that's a pipe disguised as a rock, really. That literally, it's a plastic PVC pipe disguised as a rock, which I think is interesting.
Is there anything close to that it would go to, or what do you think it? Like, what do you think it is?
I don't know. I think there's something underneath it, but not anymore. Maybe. I'm not sure.
They're also in Hawaii and I believe New Zealand or Easter Island. Like they're literally everywhere. Shem, I have a question for Tartarian Truth at the moment, if that's all right.
Let's do it.
When before like we had even connected or like talked, and like before you had like come out publicly, there's that, and that now the same clip of this guy being like, I am Tartarian Truth, and it's like this bigger middle-aged dude. Like, do you know who that is and like where that came from? Like, that's freaking hilarious.
That's true. Right? Yeah, that's true. Nice. Yeah, he's like a legendary YouTuber who used to eat a bunch of crazy shit or drink a bunch of like liquor or whatever. He would just do insane challenges and basically just. It was a reference to one of my buddies on the old channel who made Shoe Nice videos, and I was kind of just giving it as like an homage to him as well.
That is too epic. And then
so I just hit him up and he did it.
Oh god. Okay. Oh, you okay? That's so you like. It was premeditated sort of thing, collaboration. That's
yeah. He has Fiverr, so I hit him up on Fiverr and just said, "Can you read this?" And he did. And before that though, he followed me on Twitter and stuff, and because I don't even know why he followed me on Twitter. I can't remember. I think I posted something that had been shared about him or something. But that's what made me think about doing it.
That's so awesome. And then freaking, oh my god, Santos Bonacci then thinking that was like you and just went off on, oh man. I will never forget that. I'll never forget that. Oh, too good. Memories. Good laughs. Good laughs. And then I've also got, so these are Bernie's red balls. Bernie's balls, Red Rock Coulee in southern Alberta, which also has mounds. Suspiciously, we got mounds with these giant red balls.
Well, ElkMan was showing me a map the other day that showed Canada as being like basically the same area as Tartaria, Asia, Siberia, China. It was really strange.
What?
I got it here. Just give me 1 second. Pull it up.
What was that map? Because I was shocked when I saw it. Because
I am shocked too, and I must now see this. Please do share.
Okay, give me like 5 minutes.
Oh, good. And Shem, what do you have up, good sir?
Oh, I just wanted to show how these are random decals on a building in Springfield, Ohio, which was allegedly built in the 1800s. And Springfield, Ohio is just a small town in Ohio. It's off the national highway that leads from the East Coast to the West Coast, but it's still a pretty small town. And these decals on the building seem to be representations of Greco-Roman society. So you have this one here, and the first one I showed right here. I found some coins that could potentially represent what they are. Keep in mind, in this same city, you see the fleur-de-lis and other French-type symbols, Holy Roman Empire type symbols. So I think potentially that the one on the left might be a representation of Ionia or Athena or one of these goddesses, and the one on the right could be Augustus or Caesar. Because look, if you take a look at, I know it's very small because Instagram sucks and you can't zoom in, but if you look at this helmet right here on the Attica, just right here by the eye, you see that thing coming down by the ear. And then we'll go back to the original picture, which is on top of this random insurance bill.
Right, if like you look at symbology, there's
see on the ear right here, it's the same type of helmet with the mohawk right here. Yeah, this
I'll pull it up.
These reefs right here basically represent Dionysus and also the goddess, the Queen of Heaven. On top of this, you have the Caduceus, and to the right, it's not complete in the picture, but you have the Caduceus, and on top of that, you have the Eagle of Zeus. So it's like just in this random small town in Ohio, you have these massive buildings that have these symbols, because there's massive cathedrals in this city as well. There's at least 3, and then they have like Capitol buildings as well, just randomly. And they have these symbols all over them. And this is the same area that before the 7 Years' War and the War of 1812 were under the jurisdiction of the French. So, I don't know.
Symbology, the amount of work going into making it's like it has purpose, and it's the encoded like occult message hidden in plain sight, and it's just a matter of decoding it like we're doing and you're showing right here. It's awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were speculating that like the Iroquois, that's why we were talking about when we were talking about Ontario earlier. I was bringing up the Iroquois. Did these Iroquois people potentially build some of these cities before they get kicked out?
French speaking, and then that also brings up the Métis nation and people of Canada specifically, but they're half French, half Iroquois, and it goes. There's so much more to it.
Maps too. Those Seneca castles were there like in the 1600s and everything. And they still exist.
Yeah, and they were called you said they were called the wigwams, which ties into like what the Republican Party in 1860, when they basically made Abraham Lincoln the candidate for president, they met in a building in Chicago called the Wigwam. And if you remember the old posters of what the Republican Party was back in the day, they would represent them as colored folks or like barbarians or these various types of people related with like what could be considered natives or, you know, at least not white people. But this that I have pulled up real quick before we move on, the largest single annexation followed the election on June 29th, 1889, when Chicago gained 125 square miles and 225,000 people. It became then the largest city in the United States in area and passed Philadelphia to become second in population. So why am I bringing this up? Because in 1889, this is 3 years before the 1893 World's Fair. And in the last video that ElkMan and I did together, we showed how they were documenting that 3 years before the last World's Fair, it said that a single Indian chief had jurisdiction over all the land surveyed in the area of the World's Fair, and he was the sole monarch.
I remember watching that.
So this is just more evidence for that. Completely random.
Monarch. The monarch, too, though. They're using that's such key terminology.
Someone said 1860 election was rigged. Probably. Rigged. Just post it, then share it here.
Can you bring the book up a little closer to the camera?
Yeah. I'm gonna get a light. I'm gonna get a light going. I got a light here for
it. Oh yeah, it's starting to focus. Need a little larger.
Did you want me to post the book? Is that what that person's saying?
Always.
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
There we go. Yeah. Oh.
So, as Shem and I were doing this research for whatever we were doing research for, I came across something in a post, and it mentioned this map. And Shem says, first thing we got to do is find that map.
And boom, there it is.
So I hunted down the map, and every version on the internet of it sucks. And this is maybe a corner of it, maybe like not even 10% of it, but it just happens to have the part of the map that was interesting.
Perfect.
It's interesting because see it. It says Tangur. Is that right, Jen?
Floride. Floride.
I'll be right back. My oven's
Terre Floride. You'll be right back, Shem? Okay. Terre Floride.
So it says Tanger there.
And yeah, Timit.
Tangut. T-N-G-T. Now, I don't know why this is important, but Shem does. So hopefully I'll come and explain. It's got the pygmies, but this is America. This is America and Canada and New France. So I just happen to have this in an atlas here. And yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
That looks like a pretty decent building. But this map is this copy of part of the map made by Pierre de Cellier in 1550 shows the area of Jacques Cartier's discoveries. but I do believe it ties in to it being one nation again. But I don't know too much about Tank, but Shem does, and he was very excited about this find. I'm just good at finding maps.
We all have our strengths and magic powers. That's
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you bring up that map again, because
Yeah.
I was turning my oven off. It was beeping. Okay, so yeah, when you wait, I thought you sent like an actual picture of it on the internet or something on Instagram. I remember that. This light, it's so fucking bright. Okay, can you hold it just a little bit up so we can see a little bit more of the top of it?
I just explained to them the importance and why you love that this word's on here. Is that what we're looking for?
No, well, yeah, it's interesting because Tangut is on there, which is like an Asian type city, and then it also has Kambala, which is another word for Beijing or the Forbidden City. But when you actually look at this upside down, it does look similar to some of the distorted maps of Asia and Siberia that we have from history. It even has like what looks like. Is this the same map?
Yeah.
It has like a section of what looks like part of Japan too. It's very strange. But yeah, I'm trying to find that link real quick for.
I'll send it to you.
Very fascinating stuff. It's like just none of the narrative, stands any ground now. It's just ridiculous. But it's how badly they've distorted history not that long ago. Just a couple hundred years ago, who the F actually knows what was going on?
Well, that's kind of what people like Fomenko hint at, is that he thinks that during the Council of Trent in the 1500s, that was basically the time period that modern chronology was created. So before that, I guess there was a different type of civilization in order, and then when these people came to power, they changed everything. I mean, he gives like a chronological table between a difference of 1,000 years up to like 2,700, 2,800 years. It's insane. But I don't know.
Right, but then it's like he's just so all over the map because, well, who actually knows? Just there's so just every which way it's a rabbit hole, and official history is like Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese.
I got a quick throw out there too. Sorry, Shem, I can't find it. I sent it to you in a chat, and it's lost to the wall of my rambles.
Oh dear.
It's all good.
We will find it eventually. Another time.
Did you want to bring up some of those pyramid pictures you were talking about earlier, Bernie?
Yeah, give me 30 seconds here and I will do exactly that. And we'll start off with Pyramid and Pyramid Lake, Nevada, as well as I'll try to find the pictures of Tum Tum Mountain and some of the other mountain pyramids. But is your oven still beeping, Shem, or what am I hearing?
Oh yeah, that's my dinner. I'd probably have to get off here
dinner.
actually.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks, chat.
You gotta take off. All right, brother. Much love. Well, maybe. Oh, I guess I should show some. Do you have anything else you wanted to show, good ElkMan?
Yep, just give me 1 second. I'll pop it up.
Okay. At the moment, we're looking at all of the terraces that I found at the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians this summer. And they seem to be a common theme when it comes to pyramids and mounds and these ancient sites and the terraforming that they're doing. Oh, and then Mount Yamnuska Guardians as well in this folder. And I really got to get a drone up there to check out what looks like a carved out mountain access path that goes into some caves. Super fascinating, that one. Pyramid pictures. Oh yeah, I wanted to go over Devon Island again a little bit. Do you have the Devon Island map by chance?
Yeah, I'll find it on my yeah, I got it somewhere. That's right.
No worries, brother. No worries. And your
I forgot about all that, man. That like
right, the Devon Island pyramids. Let's see. Do I have that? This one. Devon Island in Nunavut, Canada, the most largest, furthest northern island that is uninhabited except by NASA, supposedly for their Mars rovers. But is it that it's filled with pyramids and instead they are exploring tombs and potential biohazards, and that's why they're going in with drones or other civilization or something? And like, who knows? There we go. Got that. What you saying? Cape Pyramid, District of Franklin. Well, this is old, so it used to be Northwest Territories, then separated into Nunavut Island. Or Nunavut Territory, sorry.
yeah, if you Google Cape Pyramid, nothing comes up anymore though. But this is a government map, and I am just putting a piece of this up there so y'all can search for it for yourselves. But like, there's not much on the map. But yeah, that's the rest of the residue of Cape Pyramid. And then I brought it up on BurnEye's channel a long time ago, and then he found said photo of pyramids at Cape Pyramid.
Right, and we found that, and then they've tried scrubbing it.
And we do know Devon Island is Mars, right? Like, is that a fact, or am I allowed to say that?
I'd say at least the majority of the footage that they use of the supposed Mars rovers is definitely from Devon Island with a red filter for sure. And oh, see you later, Nance. Much love. Much love. Just in time. Just in time to catch the end of this here. And we're looking at Devon Island right now. Pyramid in Devon Islands. This is another one here on Devon Island as well. And it looks pretty terraformed.
So sorry, I'll pull up Cape Pyramid on my Google Earth because people are asking what it is and what it has to do with Devon Island. So that wasn't very obvious, but I'll just pull it up because there was no pieces of land on that map we showed, just because I don't want to show it all, to be honest.
For sure. There's a lot of mountain pyramid it's out there. Like, Just let me know when you're ready to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And this one being the pyramid in Nevada. But yes, here we go.
So it's this area right here.
Look at that pointing, projecting like what the heck is that sticking out there? Like that's like a bastion to the left, ElkMan.
Yeah, I've never seen these before.
This whole area is massively terraformed. This is epic as heck. Actually,
So
to the
one
left,
of these, yeah, one of these was
there. Look at that. Up.
Sorry.
Straight up,
Yeah, right.
straight ahead. There you go. This one projecting out. Like, what is this? Strange stuff.
But I believe the pyramid was here.
Oh, it could be right there. Yeah.
Another photo. So yeah, this is Cape Pyramid. And I just wonder why they would call it Cape Pyramid if there was no pyramid there. But I've never seen these photo layers before either. This is pretty cool. Yeah. Sorry. So this is where Cape Pyramid is, everybody. Somewhere in here.
Right. And so they call it Point Pyramid, and there's some pyramids on the islands of Devon Island in Point Pyramid. Northernmost supposed uninhabited island. Just it's fascinating stuff. It blows my mind. But on that note, I should probably end the stream as I got to go pick up the wife from work. Any last words, my friend, or anything else to share?
Nah, I'm good. I think there's always more time.
Exactly. Well, thank you for tonight. It was awesome, and we got a lot covered and a lot of information out, and it's just always encourage everyone to go out and look what's in your own backyard and around you, because it's literally everywhere. And also check out the old maps as references like ElkMan's done.
Yeah, the old maps are where the finds are.
Right. And then and Shem and what Shem's been doing, and literally off of the old maps, driving around and documenting these mounds, pyramids throughout Ohio. You're finding them in Ontario. I've been finding them in Alberta and literally everywhere. So wherever you are, look around. They're even in Devon Island. On that note, have a good night.